Hello, everybody. My name is Brian McAboy. I run the site TradeOutLoud.com, and been around for almost 20 years. Started in January of '06. And on the matter of psychology, I think you're going to like the presentation you're about to see because it gives you. I got a different perspective on trading psychology. And so I hope you're going to enjoy this. My main focus is consistency and skills. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The presentation that we're going to be looking at today, I'll go ahead and share screens here. Yeah, what we're going to be talking about today is the 3 keys to predictable profits. The 3 things you need to become a confident, consistently profitable trader in a matter of weeks and not years. And brought to you by me, Brian McAboy of Inside Out Trading. Now, I do need to include this since we're talking about trading. As you know, trading involves substantial financial risk. This presentation is for education purposes only and is not intended to induce anyone to initiate any investment or trade. Your trading results are entirely your responsibility. Now, what this is about, there is a proven method to make your process predictable, so that so you can become a consistently profitable trader. Bear with me just a second. Gotta move some things around on my screen. Okay. And what we're talking about is, yes, this is in the real world. It's not just, theory. And even with the uncertainty of the markets. Again, my background, I'm an engineer. And so it's a matter of, actually making things work and not, just theory. So, even if you struggle to make money so far, you're going to like this because you actually are going to find out how you can make your profits predictable. And like I said, the cool thing is this only takes a matter of weeks, not years. If you look in a lot of books, they'll say it takes 5 to 10 years. Doesn't have to take that long. So let's go ahead and get on with it. Now, why this is important, until you learn how to make your profits predictable, you will forever be gambling, chasing the markets, chasing strategies, questioning yourself, and losing confidence, which is not a great way to trade. And the struggle can go on for years where you live in a nearly constant anxiety every day, not knowing if you're going to make money or lose money this month. I've been there, done that. I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. And that's just not a great way to trade. So, and that's what we're going to talk about, how to take control of your trading so that, you're not living with anxiety. And this right here is a very serious statement. It's not an exaggeration. If you pay attention and apply what you learned here today in the next hour, this will become a turning point in your trading if you've been struggling, particularly with consistency and being able to make consistent profits and getting off the roller coaster, both emotionally and profit-wise with your trading. So who am I? Like I told you, I'm an engineer. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I'm also an ASQ certified quality engineer, which actually is very pertinent to what you're going to learn today. I'm also the creator of Inside Out Trading. Over the last 18 years, I've helped over 3,000 traders go from losing money to consistently profitable and taking their confidence from a 2 to an 8 or a 9. I've had numerous brokers and educators take my training. And for example, Armando Olivo, he said, I've been able to achieve the consistency that my trading lacked for the past 8 years. He'd been wrestling with some of the same problems for that long, and we were able to get him turned around again in just a matter of weeks. As far as Antanas Grintzevicius, he said, I've taken your course, helped me turn my trading around from one of an amusing and mostly frustrating online gambling activity to one in which I can rely on the returns that my system puts out, and it has removed all the anxiety. Now, as far as a professional's perspective, not just individuals, John Foreman is an author, a professional trader, and he was a market analyst for Routers. He said, Brian McAboy brings a refreshing new perspective to trader development. His background in process engineering really lets him approach things in a completely different way than most trading educators. As a result, you won't get the same old tired material from him. He'll allow you to see your trading from a whole new angle, one which can definitely help you be a better trader. Now, my intention with this presentation today, really in our small amount of time together today, my goal is to make a big impact in the following ways with you. Seriously, confidence that's one of the number one things I have people say that's what they want when they come to me for help and they want my coaching. I used to think, everybody just wanted profit. But I was really surprised when I first started asking. It's like a whole lot of people, they're like, Brian, I just want my confidence back. I'm so tired of trading with no confidence. And so we're going to take care of that today. You're going to learn, yes, this is how you can get that confidence back and replace the doubt and uncertainty that you've been wrestling with. Clarity where there was once confusion, and really to unlock the true potential that you have to live the life you desire through your trading. When trading works, it's great. When it doesn't, it sucks, as you know. And if you're in a position to trade, you've already demonstrated that you have the traits to make it as a trader. It's just getting the right help. And I want to help you unlock that. If nothing else, I want you to leave the training today with a new understanding and some perspectives on trading that'll serve you well and allow you to make substantial progress forward with your goals. Now, what I need from you, and I'm very serious about this, no matter where you are with your trading, you're here because you want better. Better means different from the past and the status quo. And the only way to get new results is by doing something different than you have in the past. So what I need from you is to take what you learned here and implement it in your trading. Actually put it to use so that you see a difference. Otherwise, we're both wasting our time here. Now, nothing pains me more really than giving you a solution, yet running into years later, still clinging hopelessly to your problem. This has happened to me, sadly, a number of times. I've been at this for a long time, and it's happened where I would have somebody come to me and they say, "Yeah, Brian, I've been on your mailing list for 5 years, and I've lost $300,000. I finally need to get your help." And it's like, no, don't wait and just let time pass and do nothing different. You implement what you learned here today so that you actually, again, you move the needle and you get past this. Now, how this whole thing came to be, what you're about to learn about. Before I was trading, I was a quality assurance manager in a $100 million manufacturing plant. We're making plastic bottles for Coke, Pepsi, Gatorade, Aquafina, stuff like that. And it was a high-speed, high-volume operation. And they are very hard customers. They really are. Consistency was an absolute must. If we shut down one of our customers for a quality issue, it could cost us up to $25,000 an hour at our customer plants. They would send us an invoice for seriously $25,000 an hour. And it was crazy because it's, again, super high volume. If you ever watched in a Coke canning plant, you watch those cans run down the line, you can't even spot them at all. It's just a red blur because things are moving so fast. The volumes and the rates are so crazy high. There's just absolutely zero room for error or, again, inconsistency and, bad quality. So now, as far as my trading story, I started off like most people do, not really knowing much, just enough to be dangerous, and had no real training on how to be a trader. I just kind of jumped in, I thought I'll figure it out as I go. I'm a fairly smart individual, been able to figure out a lot of stuff in my life. I'm an engineer, looked at trading. It's like, hey, this is simple enough. Yeah, I get it. I know what I know what I need to do. I see how it works. And I unfortunately, I ran my account up. I started with $30,000. I ran it up to over $47,000. And then I just blew up my account, running it all the way down to just $1,700. And I apologize for the ping on my phone. Thought I had it on airplane mode. Yeah, so I got to have the common experience of jumping into it with a bit of a sense of false confidence, and taking a beating. And the reason I said it was unfortunate that I ran my account up. I actually did get lucky and my account went up, but before I blew it up. But it was luck. I didn't know what I was doing. And the whole thing and losing all that money and just that experience, if you ever blown up an account and it's your own money, you know what it's like. It's like, yeah, you're losing the money. You feel bad enough about that, but your self-esteem usually just gets crushed. I know mine did. I felt like an absolute idiot, and it almost cost me my marriage. So the thing is, I took a break from trading, but I wasn't done. I was talking with a friend of mine after I'd taken a break, and I was telling her what happened, and she said, Brian, you're the quality manager over here, making these plastic bottles. The trucks are flying in and out of there. You've literally, you're responsible for a $100 million operation, and the place runs great. So why don't you just take what you're doing there and apply it to your trading? And so that's what I did. And the really cool thing was when I did that, it's like everything got easy, and it's just, I was able to settle down. And it's like, I'm looking at it and it's like, well, yeah, quality assurance is all about being intentional and making things very consistent. And it's been proven around the world in every industry on the planet over decades. At its core, Quality assurance is all about taking processes, activities, and making them really consistent and reliable. And again, this has been proven in every industry in the planet. And I had the good fortune of, you know, doing this for a living, and I just hadn't made the connection to apply it to my trading. And so, that's what I did. And it's cool because, yeah, quality is really all about, establishing consistency. It's almost like I like to refer to quality assurance as success by design. It's where you get real intentional about what you're doing. You make it super consistent so you know what your outcome is going to be. You know you're going to win before you ever start the game. And that's really cool. And so, taking the quality tools and practices and perspectives and applying them to my trading, it worked amazingly well. And the cool thing about it is everybody that's come to me, they usually come to me initially when I first started helping other traders, they come to me looking for psychological help. And I would teach them, what I used to turn my trading around, and it would work the same for them. They'd be coming to me for, hesitation was a big one, or, over trading, that kind of, system jumping, all that kind of stuff. And just getting, this training and being able to apply these tools, you just naturally get settled down because you're getting a solid handle on your trading. And it worked for me and everybody that I've taught this to. It's like, man, you get consistently profitable really fast. And this is how, you gain your confidence back. For me, that's how I gained my confidence back and my wife's trust, and was able to continue trading, fortunately. Because, see, I know the heartache of blowing up an account and watching its destruction. And it just absolutely sucks. And, and I also know how that can affect those you care about. I was, dealing with my wife and my kids, and they're looking at me and, thinking, hey, dad's a cool businessman and, trader and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, no, I just got my butt kicked. And so I know what it's like to be on the other end of that. But see, that's one of the main reasons that I'm helping others now, is so that I can help you avoid that same fate. Now, what you're going to discover today, and this is a real quick overview. Now, okay, enough with the the intro stuff. We'll go ahead and get on with the meat of the presentation. If you've just been listening, you're a little distracted. Now's when you want to start paying attention, because really you're gonna learn. And this first one, the simple secret to making money trading, it's going to seem painfully obvious when you hear it, but it's absolutely true. And unfortunately, most people don't keep this at the forefront of their thinking when they're trading, and that's why they're struggling. So you're going to learn the simple secret to making money trading. You're going to learn the 3 obstacles to consistent profits. If you've been struggling with consistent profits, you're going to find in this presentation, you're going to hear things that you haven't heard before as to why it's so hard to make consistent profits and what you can do about it. That's the really cool thing. And you're going to find out that 2 of these 3 obstacles really have nothing to do with discipline or sticking to your rules. And that's part of the reason for so many traders, they're thinking the problem is discipline. It's like, no, you might be fighting one of these other obstacles, and you've been fighting the wrong problem if you've been thinking it's discipline, because it's something else. You're also going to learn that there are 3 keys to actually realize consistent profits month in and month out. And this is a big deal because these are the 3 keys. And if you'll attend to them, you will get results. It works. Like I said, I'm an engineer. I'm not into theory. I'm not into speculation or, BS. It's like it either works or it doesn't. And so what you're going to learn today is stuff that it absolutely works, and it works for everybody. It's not just if you're lucky. Unless you have some serious, issues, drug problems or something like that, this works. So let's see, I got to check the chat real quick. Tim Down is welcome to the world of self-shame. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, what you're going to learn is the fastest way to create a breakthrough in your trading, and this is critical. You can't just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. You have to have a new and different experience with it. This is a big deal, and this all starts with your head. I mean, trading, it's a mental activity. False beliefs will keep you stuck and looking in the wrong places for answers indefinitely. And so one thing I found, and I actually thought it was kind of interesting. A while back, I put out a poll to my email subscribers that people had subscribed on my site, and I asked them, so when you first came to me, how long had you been trading? And the average was 4.6 years. That's how long they'd been trading prior to coming to my site. They're looking for help because they're not happy with their trading. And it was funny because, yeah, I asked them, it's like, okay, are you seriously unhappy? Are you struggling? Are you kind of staying afloat? Are you kind of happy with your trading, or are you actually pleased with your results? And 82.6% of the respondents said that they were not happy with their trading after nearly 5 years. It's amazing with trading. It's so easy to get so caught up in it and just kind of get used to the grind and the struggle and the try and fail cycle, that it's like, it's amazing how quickly, years can go by and you're not seeing the results that you want. We're gonna attend to that today. We're gonna dispel the myths that are holding you back. Okay, so myth number one, and this is so common. So many people are thinking, if I could just find a good strategy. Well, that's not the case. And here's the thing. I mean, so many traders, they're on what I call the quest. And this is really, where they're looking for that magic strategy that's going to somehow, turn everything around, and they're going to be set for life. And the thing is, when you're in this stage, you're endlessly looking for some solution that's outside of you. Like I said, some strategy, and that's not where the answer is. The answer is you. So you're on this quest. But the thing is, once you can address the issues that are about you and the things that you've been missing, because almost nobody gets proper training for trade, to be a trader. Once you get the piece, the missing pieces that have been lacking all along, now you can move over into the promised land of trading, where now, yes, you have a solid handle on things, you're making money, and you know how to make it work. And that's cool. But anyway, yeah, like I said, the first part of it is, it's just, where everybody's on the quest. And so the thing is, the reality of it is, a good strategy will not automatically make you into a consistently profitable trader. Just doesn't work that way. Myth number two, so many traders think, I've got a good strategy, but I just can't seem to, do what I need to, what I know I should do. The problem must be me. And what I need to fix is me. And it's a very logical thinking. I mean, it's a logical thought. It's like, I got a good strategy. I just can't execute on it. It must be me. Nothing wrong with the strategy. And the thing is, they're sort of thinking that they must have some deep subconscious issue, like, some problem with their relationship with money, or, a fear of success, or some deep mommy daddy issue that's keeping them from being a successful trader. But see, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with you, at least not the way you think. The issues that you're battling are from your trading experience in ways that you're not aware of. They're not because you're somehow broken as a person. Whatever issues you may have outside of trading and before trading are very likely not so severe that they'll prevent your success. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be in a position to trade. So, uncovering, whatever mommy daddy issue, psychological issue you have from your trading and resolving it, well, that might be helpful, and it might, relieve some stress and, or, heal some past trauma in other regards. It will not just because you resolve that doesn't automatically transform you into a consistently profitable trader. It doesn't work that way. Myth number three is where you're thinking, well, I don't need any training. It's too expensive. I can just figure this out on my own, and by watching others trade on YouTube, and just looking at, oh, this is how this guy's doing it, or oh, this is how this guy's making money, and just copying them. And it's like, no, that again doesn't work. See, here's the thing. I mean, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. I wish I can remember who came up with that quote. I heard it a long time ago, and I love it because I've learned from personal experience. It's absolutely true. Ignorance is way more expensive, because the reality of it is, and this is true, especially in trading, trial and error is the most expensive way to learn. You probably can attest to this from your own experience. The thing is, it's because the markets don't teach, they only punish. When you're trading and you make a mistake, the markets are not going to show you what you did wrong, or even really give you much of a clue. They're just going to keep smacking you around and taking your money. And that's just plain how the markets are. And trading, the whole activity of it, it is not something that lends itself to being figured out. Again, as you probably have experienced, it takes training and certain skills. So myth number four, and this one's a big one. This is huge. There's so many people that think, oh my God, trading is just emotional by its nature. There's no way to avoid it, period. It's going to be emotional. You have to learn how to control your emotions. Again, this is a myth. It's not true. Think about this. If you take a person of reasonable intelligence and ability and you throw them into a skill-based activity, but you don't give them adequate training and proper preparation for that job. The experience is very likely to be stressful, difficult, not very successful, and it's going to be almost impossible for it not to be emotional. But if you take that same person and you give them adequate and proper preparation, and then put them in the activity, properly prepared and trained, they'll just go do their thing and they'll be fine. So the real problem, real is, what I found with most traders, they don't have emotional problems or, psychological issues. What they have is, or even, lack of discipline issues or emotional control. What they have is lack of proper training issues. That's the problem. And it's cool because it's proven out. Again, this is something I discovered. I didn't make it up. I've discovered it in helping traders. The reality of it is when you go about trading correctly and you're going into it properly skilled up and you're properly prepared and you're properly equipped, trading is not going to be any more of an emotional experience than a regular job. Seriously. I mean, if you think about it, you've probably in your life, you've handled things that were much more sophisticated and challenging than trading. You probably have. So it's not that you lack the ability, you're lacking the training and the competence and the proficiency and the skill set to do this comfortably. And so once you get where you need to be as a trader, yeah, trading becomes very much like a regular job. Some days are better than others. You enjoy the good days, bad days. I wish it could be better. But, you're not on this huge emotional ride, again, because it's become much more business-like. Now you've got a handle on it. It's not wearing you out, which is exactly how it should be. Okay, myth number 5. And this is another one. I fell prey to this as well. Since I know how trading works and I know what I'm supposed to do, I should be able to be successful at it. It's just a matter of staying focused and disciplined. Big myth. Again, just because, all right, here's a perfect example. I understand the game of golf. I know exactly how the game works. I understand the rules, know what I'm supposed to do. That doesn't make me a good golfer. And it's not just because I'm equipped with that doesn't mean I'm going to go and be able to play competition and, do well. Trading it's very similar. And the thing is, it's, like I say, I got here, it doesn't work that way. It's like golf. Just because you know what to do and you understand the game, that doesn't mean you're going to be good at it. Trading is a skill-based occupation. And until you acquire the full set of skills for this job, it's going to be rough. Now, I want to unshare my screen here stop sharing for just a second. Because there's a little visual that goes with this. See, here's the thing. Trading requires a certain level of skill. It's up here. So long as you're down here, you're lacking the skills, the full skill set that the job requires, it's going to be rough. But once you get up here and now you have the skills and the know-how and the understandings and the perspectives, here's where it starts to get easy. And as soon as you pass the requirements, now, yeah, it's going to get easy. And that's the cool thing about it. It is a skill-based thing. It's not a mental, again, it's, you don't have to sit on a therapist's couch for a year fixing your, psychological issues. It's like, no, get skilled up with the right set of skills, get the full set of skills so you have a solid handle on this. It gets easy at that point. It really does, because now you have everything you need to make the job easy because you're bringing the skill set. Okay. So, get back to the presentation. I just had to go ahead and do that because it's such a big deal. It really is. And it's good news. It really is. So, okay, just real quick question time. As far as those myths, do any of these resonate with you? I mean, can you understand, what we're talking about here? Because it just kills me, with trading. It's like, yeah, this is this is how it is, and it's hilarious. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get moving again. Now, again, what we're going to cover today. So that was the 5 myths, and it's real important to get those out of the way, because the thing is, if you're thinking those things are true, that's where you're going to look for solutions, and it's going to have you close, your mind closed off to getting the right answers that are going to move the needle for you. Okay, so we're going to cover today the simple secret to making money trading, the 3 obstacles to consistent profits, how 2 of the 3 have nothing to do with discipline or sticking to your rules, and the 3 keys to actually realize consistent profits month in and month out. You're going to like this, and this is going to make absolute sense when you see this. You're going to be like, it's an aha moment where you're like, that's what I needed. That's why I've been struggling, because I didn't have that, because I've been thinking other things. I've been hearing other people say other things, and this is actually how you make it work. So let's get started. Now, I'm going to share the simple secret to making money with you in just a minute. But first, I don't want you to make this one mistake that the traders make that will prevent you from capitalizing on this simple secret. It's like Mark Twain said, what gets us into trouble is not what we don't know. It's what we know for sure, incorrect thinking, that just ain't so. So here's the limiting mistake. Most traders assume that if they're struggling to make money consistently, if they regularly do things that hurt the bottom line, like hesitating, chasing trades, over trading, strategy jumping, all that kind of stuff, that, they assume that they know the cause. It's just a lack of discipline. And because this is what they think, they don't look any further. It's like, if I could just be more disciplined, if I could just fix my head. No, that's not the answer. Discipline is part of it. Of course, you have to show up. You can't just be all, undisciplined and wild with what you're doing, of course, but it shouldn't take any kind of abnormal level of discipline any more than you've already demonstrated just, in surviving your day-to-day life as an adult. There is more to it than just discipline. And there's more to it than just psychology or mindset, the way a lot of people think. Again, there's so many people out there, and they're saying, if you just get a good strategy and just get your psychology right, you'll be set. And it's like, no, you're kind of missing a big chunk right in the middle here. Those things are important, but there's still something else. There are two other factors at play that contribute as much, if not more, than a lack of discipline. There are three very specific obstacles that make consistent profits and trading calmly, successfully, day in and day out. There are three obstacles that make that difficult. And if you don't address all three, that consistency that you seek will continue to elude you. Seriously, you're gonna like this. This is all real world, no BS. You will continue to be frustrated with missed profits, not necessarily losses, if you don't attend to these. That said, here's the secret. You're gonna like this. There's a simple secret of making money trading. An average or even a mediocre strategy executed consistently will outperform and make more money than a great strategy executed inconsistently. So that's the thing. You don't have to have some magic strategy, some perfect strategy, something, lets you win all the time. No. The consistency and the consistent execution, that's the key. So easy for it to get lost and get the focus over here. I just want to make money. I just want to, clever strategy. No, the consistency is the key. Now, if you want to restate what I just said there, if you want consistent profits, focus on consistency first. When you get the consistency part right, adjusting for profit becomes easy. Or if you want to state it even more simply, consistency matters more than the strategy that you use, which is, again, something I've found to be true. I didn't, make that up, just plain discovered it. It's like, yeah, if you got the consistency down, the rest of it gets pretty easy. If you're missing the consistency, everything else is still challenging. So, okay, why doesn't it happen though? Well, there are generally two things that traders do that keep you from enjoying consistent profits. First is the approach that most traders take. It's backwards from a consistency standpoint. Again, I'm a quality engineer. Quality is all about consistency. Second is failing to understand the obstacles that keep you from being able to execute consistently. And that's what we're going to talk about here. There's these three obstacles. See, the thing is, most traders, they're going at it backwards. They really are. They want to say, I want consistent profits. I mean, if the goal is consistent profits, seriously, most people are going at it backwards from a process perspective. If you're looking for a good strategy and then trying to figure out how to be consistent with it, that's the hard way. And that's the way most everybody is. It's like, if I could just find a good strategy, then cool, I got a profitable strategy. I'll just get profitable and then I'll figure out how to be consistent with it. It's like, no, that's the hard way. The better approach is to focus on consistency first, then profits, because it is so much easier to adjust a consistent trading process for better performance than it is to fix trading that's all over the place. Seriously, if you think about it, if you've got a good consistent process, yeah, it's pretty easy to adjust that. But if your trading's all over the place, yeah, that's kind of hard to fix. So that's the first thing, consistency first, and it's a big deal. Now, so why doesn't that consistency happen? There are actually three specific obstacles, things that are getting in your way that are causing the problem, keeping you from enjoying that consistency. The first one is, yes, deviating, but not for the reason that you think. Yeah, of course, deviating from your rules, very common obstacle. And this is where you just plain don't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, or you're doing things that you shouldn't. Okay, fair enough. Now, most traders see this as a result of emotions and a lack of discipline or some other quote unquote, psychological issue, but it's not. You're not messed up. What I've found working one-on-one with hundreds of traders is that most traders don't have any significant psychological issues, at least not that they bring to trading from the outside. Again, as a person, you're okay. This is important for you to understand. If you've been beating yourself up and feeling like a loser, man, what is it? What is it about me? Why can't I just make this happen? You're about to find out. I mean, think about it. If you had serious issues regarding discipline, success, or money, you wouldn't be in a position to trade. Just the fact that you're here demonstrates that you have what it takes to succeed. Seriously. You've already demonstrated, you have proof, you have evidence that you are satisfactorily okay with discipline and success and money because you're in a position to trade. If you weren't, if you had a major issue that was preventing you from being successful, you wouldn't be here. So you already have those traits. Now, question that comes up: yes, is it possible that there's another cause of the deviation problem? One that's much easier to address. Now, we talked about myth number 4, where you're trying to do a job for which you're not properly prepared, and in that situation, it likely will be rough, stressful, and emotional. But for traders, there's another aspect to the psychology that no one talks about, and this is critical to understand. It really is. And it's even worse than inadequate training. For traders, the situation is worse, and it's challenging, and it's due to what I call the kiss of death. And again, it's super important that you understand this. This kiss of death, okay, how can you, what is it, and how can you tell if it's happened to you? Well, it's an event that affects you mentally and emotionally in almost every aspect of your trading. And the thing is, it's almost a permanent effect if you don't fix it. It can, the effect from this can last indefinitely. And here's what I'm talking about. Where the problem begins, for most traders, unfortunately, they begin very unprepared. I know I did. I just kind of jumped into it. I really had no clue. I was thinking, all right, I get it. I see what I'm supposed to do. And I just jumped in with this false confidence that I actually knew what the hell I was doing. And so I just knew enough to be dangerous. Really, that's about all it was. I can't say that I really knew what I was doing, which is hilarious. And so I love it because enough to be dangerous. For years, I was trying to find like a concise, real brief way to describe the state that I was in when I was a struggling trader, and everybody else. And it's like, oh, enough to be dangerous. It came to mind one day, and it's like that is so perfect. It's like I know enough to be dangerous. I know enough to get in there and hurt myself, but I don't know honestly, how to succeed at this. And there's this crucial moment, this kiss of death. There's this crucial moment, a brief moment of time during which your fate is decided. It's when you engage in, this an activity like trading without proper training. When you do that, many detrimental things, get established for you in a deep and profound way. They really do. And here's what I'm talking about: this kiss of death. When you begin trading with real money, and you're still at that enough to be dangerous state, unaware of the skills that you need, and largely, if not completely untrained as a trader, there's a number of things that happen that set you on the course to ruin. And this is what I call the kiss of death. Now, what happens to you is, prior to placing your first trade, everything was just kind of theoretical. It's something you're kind of speculating about. But once you place that first trade with real money, it became your reality. It went from being simply something you were thinking about and, just a mental image. It became an experience for you. And at that point, now it's a physical, it's an emotional, it's a chemical experience. And that's huge. And here's what I'm talking about. When that happens in those first, the first trade, those first days, weeks, and months, during those early days, you're establishing a whole lot of the mindset and mental framework that you're going to carry forward. And this is a big deal. Your expectations, your emotional responses, the triggers and associations you have, your perceptions of yourself as a trader, the markets, trading itself, and many other points of reference all start to get hardwired into your brain and your body. And this is a big deal because essentially what happens is those first weeks and months is you're establishing what you consider normal. I mean, this is one of the most dangerous mental constructs that can happen. And it happens, because again, during this period, what you see is the world of trading and your place in it. It's like, this is what's real. And that's a big deal. And so many traders get used to struggling, putting in long hours without realizing success. And you just get used to it. Again, it's like, this is normal. Yes, emotional trading is normal. Struggling is normal. Doing things that blow up my account or give back trades every time, I start to make money. It's like, this is just normal. This is part of trading. It's an emotional experience. It's a discipline challenge. It's an emotional control issue. All these things get wired into you that, okay, yeah, this is what trading's about. And the problem is that when you act on this and you decide to go ahead and you start trading at a very significant level mentally, you were kind of drawing the conclusion that you were ready and you had all that you needed to get started. And that is huge. When that happens, your mind closes to a very large degree and you stop looking to learn, because it's like, yeah, I get it, I understand it. And even worse is, after you've been trading for, let's say, several months or a couple of years, now your mind is definitely closed, because after all that time, you're definitely thinking you all know you know everything there is to know about trading. And it's like, no. And this is where most traders get stuck. This mind closing that happens, combined with the apparent simplicity of trading, plus all the scams and misinformation out there, this leaves most traders feeling pretty jaded and they're limited to thinking that, if I could just find a good system, then somehow everything will be okay. And mentally and emotionally, they get stuck. And that's why I call it a kiss of death, because it just totally sends you on, again, on the path to ruin. Mentally, it locks you into that path, and it's terrible. The thing is, during those first crucial weeks and months of active trading, while you're not prepared for the challenges of trading, you're still being trained, but it's bad training. You're actually practicing mostly bad trading. I know for me, my first year, that's what I was doing every day. I was practicing bad trading. I was practicing emotional trading, jumpy trading, hesitation, practicing revenge trading, getting angry, getting hurt, the emotional ride, chasing strategies, chasing trades. That's what I was practicing every day. And whatever you're practicing, you're training yourself to do mentally and emotionally and physically. And so that's what was going on. And that's why it's a big deal. Again, that's what I was doing. I was practicing nervous, unskilled, emotional trading. And the thing is, when this is going on, since it's an actual experience and not just some mental, anticipation or, thing that you're thinking about, it's an experience for you. This bad training is hardwiring you in the process, just like any other training. The longer it goes on, the more ingrained it becomes. And so your conscious experience is wiring your brain, and your emotional experience is wiring your nervous system throughout your whole body that, yes, this is how it is. And this is how you respond to trading and the markets and everything that goes on. And so, okay, now if we go back to the deviating, yeah, it's not simply a matter of discipline. The emotional undisciplined trading has been established as the normal, in how you got wired in your early days and weeks of trading with real money. And so, that's how you got trained in the beginning. So that's where the psychological aspect comes in. It's like, there's not, you're not screwed up as a trader. I mean, as a person, you got bad training as a trader, in addition to the lack of good training. And so that really puts it, hard against you. So question for you. I mean, can you see how maybe it's not a matter of a lack of discipline, but really a matter of bad mental habits, perspectives, and emotional responses having been wired into your brain and your body? I mean, seriously, throw your answer up in the chat if you can relate to this. Because for me, when all this kind of came to mind, and it's like, holy cow, that's actually really what's going on. I'm not screwed up. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a loser. This is what was going on. I just plain was getting bad training. I was training myself, and I didn't know what I was doing. And so, yeah. And I mean, this is a big deal. Yeah, Tim Downey. Yeah, seriously, this is, and what I love about this, and I'm thrilled to be sharing it with you, is these are things that I've discovered in my own experience in helping other traders. And it's like, this is useful stuff. It's not the same old, just be more disciplined, figure out how to control your emotions, meditate, resolve your mommy daddy issues. It's like, no, this is stuff you can actually use, which is cool. So, all right. Now that's the first obstacle. It's the kiss of death. Second obstacle is changes. Most traders, they have the natural impulse to do something when things aren't working in life. And that's a good thing. In general, as a personal trait, that's a good thing. You don't just sit there and, live with problems. But in trading, this can present problems that accumulate over time. And this is where it's a problem. Because see, if your system doesn't appear to be working and you make an adjustment to try to fix it, these regular adjustments and modifications over time, they add up. And after 3 to 6 months, you've been making so many changes to your system. It's like you're not even close to where you were before. You're working with a very different system now. And the problem is, you don't, like in my own experience, like most of the people that come to me for help and I'm coaching them. It's like, yeah, over 3 to 6 months, they've made so many changes. They don't know what worked to start with. And as far as the changes that they've made, they don't know what changes helped and what didn't. And so it really makes for a messy situation. And here's the thing with this constant change, when what you're doing constantly changes, of course, your results will change regularly too. You're creating the inconsistency through your actions because you're using different systems all the time. Every time you make a change, it's effectively a new system. Like if you keep adjusting your stop or your take profit target or the indicators that you use and stuff like that, if you keep changing what you're doing with your trading, of course your results are going to change because you're not using the same method that you were before. And the thing is, if you're just chasing markets, you just can't do that if your goal is consistent profits over any length of time. You can't chase the markets. It just doesn't work. That's not going to work with anything because the markets are so dynamic. You have to be able to be consistent yourself. And the thing is, if you're chasing them, you're never going to catch the markets that way. Again, it's a dynamic environment. It just doesn't work. So again, can you see how, you can actually be sticking to your rules? But if you're making changes to your system on a regular basis, if that's getting adjusted or tweaked regularly, this is what's affecting the consistency of your results from one month to the next. It's not your discipline. It's the fact that you're using a changing system all the time. And so that's where the problem comes in. Even if you're not jumping from strategy to strategy, just the fact that you're making tweaks here and there, that's creating the variables that lead to inconsistent results. So this, again, this is a big deal. Now, can you also see that if no one ever showed you how to go about making changes to your system in a calculated, organized, and business-like manner, that this again would be a matter of a lack of good training rather than a matter of personal control or discipline or self-control? Yeah, that's the thing. Again, trading is about the skills and knowing how to do all the things that you need to do. This is a really important one. Okay, so obstacle number 3. So, all right, we talked about the first two. First one was kiss of death. Second one is changing systems all the time, or you're making adjustments to your system all the time. A third obstacle is not having a solid system to start with. Now, this was really brought home to me back in 2009 when I was working with a bunch of traders. It seemed like the flavor of this period for a couple of months was hesitation. Everybody was fighting hesitation. And so when I started talking with these traders, we explored all the normal psychological effects or aspects of things, and what we found really was that they didn't have any big psychological issues. And so I was talking with this one guy one day, and it just kind of came to me to ask him to share his system with me. And it's like, really? And it was pretty cool because there was this big aha moment. And here's what happened. When we're talking about his the struggles he's been having, and he his kind of energy's down here, and he's just not feeling real good. And he's the stress is coming through in his voice, and it's like, well, okay, well, tell me about your system. And it's like, cool, I like my system, and his energy picks up, and he starts telling me about how it works and everything, and his energy's really good. But then it didn't take long till we hit a point where it's like he's having a hard time explaining it to me. And now the frustration is back in his voice. And it's like, okay, well, let's just move on and continue. And that happened a few more times as we're going through how he traded. And so it's like, wow, this is interesting, because what we discovered as we were talking, because we went through a system in detail, and again, from my quality assurance background, it's like quality is all about taking activities and processes and making them consistent and knowing how to make things consistent, the things that it takes to have a consistent activity and process. And so we went through a system in detail, and we fixed the issues, the functional issues with a system. And the cool thing about it was when we did that, and he took his trading, his system back to his trading now with it fixed. His hesitation just fell away, and it was cool because he was thinking that he had some psychological issue going on, that there was something wrong with him. And it's like, no, the hidden problem was he didn't know to challenge his system itself. He didn't even think to look there. But the thing is, his subconscious knew that there were problems with his system. And that's why it was causing him to hesitate all the time. But he didn't know to recognize the problems and fix them. He thought he had a really good strategy. The strategy was good. The system was the problem. And so, again, if you have a kind of a broken system, you're really just kind of building inherent variability into what you're doing. The inconsistency is built into what you're doing because again, you got a broken system. Now, what I did a while back was I actually listed out all the different characteristics that make a system really solid, where it will produce predictable, very consistent results. And there are 14 different characteristics, distinct characteristics. I was kind of surprised myself when I was listing them out, and I went back over the list. It's like, wow, yeah, these actually are 14 different distinct things that need to be true about a system in order for it to produce good, consistent, predictable results. And if your system is lacking any of these characteristics, you're going to have some variability. You're going to have some execution issues. And the thing is, what I've found over the years, most traders are working with a system that is lacking in several characteristics. Like 98% of the traders that come to me, there's only been one or two traders that came to me that actually had a really good process for a system where, yes, it has all the characteristics, and yes, it will deliver, good, solid results. And so the funny thing is, there are a lot of traders out there, they don't really even have a system. They kind of like have an idea for a system. It's not even close to a system. It's hardly even a strategy, which is hilarious. And they're wondering why they're struggling with consistent results. It's like, because you're not being consistent in what you do. Okay, so back to quality. For my quality days, I know what makes for a good, repeatable, predictable process that will produce consistent results. And it's amazing how many traders are sticking to their system and they're not changing it, but they're plagued with lousy results because of the system itself. They don't realize that that's where the problem is. And we'll come back to this in just a minute. And as far as the 3 consistent profit keys, and helping thousands of traders over the last 18 years, I found that there are 3 consistent profit keys that every trader needs to get consistently profitable in a reasonable period of time. We talked about the obstacles, and we're going to talk about attending to those. These are the things that need to happen in order for you to get good, consistent results. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the question comes up, because like I said, getting those consistent results in a reasonable period of time. Well, what's a reasonable time? In and of itself, trading is not so complex that it requires years to understand and become competent. However, it does not lend itself to being just figured out, like we talked about. The markets will continue to slap you and take your money for years without telling you what you're doing wrong. It will just keep smacking you around, like Armando. He's been wrestling with it for 8 years, and he's a smart guy. He really is. I was very impressed when I talked to him. He's mentally well above average. He's a smart guy, still struggling with the same stuff because he wasn't aware of what he didn't know. Okay. But see, here's the thing. If you don't know and you don't get the right help, you don't get the right training, that's why in most trading books, it says it takes 5 to 22 years to become a consistently profitable trader. Because if you're just, trading away and trading away and trading away and beating your head on the rock, it's going to take that long for you to figure it out. It's just because that's doing it the hard way. Like we said, trial and error is the hardest, most expensive, the longest way to learn how to trade successfully. Okay. So what is a reasonable period of time then? Well, if you've been trading for more than 6 months and you're losing money or you're struggling to make it, that's a clear indication that you should reconsider your approach. It really shouldn't take you longer than 6 months to get pretty far along. If you're not even close to where you want to be, or you're not even halfway there, you've been trading for more than 6 months, seriously, you want to rethink what you're doing. Okay. Now, so put your answer in the chat. How long do you think it should take to get consistently profitable as a trader? I mean, what have you had in your head already that, if you're talking to somebody and, they say, well, how long do you think it should take? How would you answer them prior to what you just learned here? What have you already had in your head as far as how you think, how long you think it would, it should take for you to become a good, competent, comfortable trader making money on all that? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. So, let's see. All right, Shell says 1 to 1.5 years, a year or two. Believe it or not, and this I've actually been kind of surprised with. There are a lot of very, very good, sincere, honest, high integrity trading educators out there, and a lot of them will tell you the same thing. You need like 18 months or 2 years, before you're actually there. Tim says, yeah, two to three full-time focus, been at it, trying for over 20, but life and business always get in the way, distractions. Yeah. Even if you're focused on it. Yeah, most traders think that, okay, yeah, just, figuring it out, it's going to take 2 to 3 years. Yeah, and that's really being optimistic. Like I told you, I was kind of surprised when I polled my readers, and the average was 4.6 years. That was the average. It blows me away when I have people come to me. They've been trading for 5, 8, 12, 15 years, and they're still struggling. They're still fighting issues that they were 10 years ago. That's like, oh my God. So yeah. And the cool thing is, it doesn't take that long when you get the right help. That's the cool thing. That was like big thing for me. Okay. So now let's take a look at the 3 keys. This is important. And I know we need to keep moving along. There are 3 keys that every trader needs to get consistently profitable in a reasonable period of time, in weeks rather than years. So consistent profit key number 1, again, is a true system. Because see, here's the thing. How can you expect consistent results if you yourself are inconsistent in what you do? You have to be consistent in what you're doing if you want consistent profits. Now, if you have a good strategy, you want to execute that strategy over and over and over again, right? Yeah, of course. So here's a big misunderstanding that a lot of traders have, and unfortunately, there's a lot of strategy sellers. This is where a lot of the scammers and pure, marketers come in, and they're sitting there saying that, hey, check out this strategy, this great strategy, as if a strategy and a system are the same thing. And the mistake everybody makes, and they're often led to, is thinking that a good strategy equals a good system. But the thing is, a strategy and a system are 2 different matters. Your strategy is how you plan to get in and out of the markets and make money. I mean, for example, let's say you're looking for breakouts, so you're going to look for an area consolidation, and then when the market breaks out sufficiently to one side, then okay, you're going to get in on that trade because you're thinking, all right, it's got enough momentum that I can ride that for a little bit and make some money. Okay, that's a strategy, but that's not a system. A system is, okay, you got a great strategy. Your system is how you're going to execute that strategy hundreds or even thousands of times consistently. That's what a system is. They're not the same thing. You can have a great strategy and a lousy system. You can have a mediocre strategy and a great system, and you'll make more money than that great strategy with a lousy system all day long. And that's like just huge. So question time. And I love asking this question. And go ahead and put it in the chat. Somebody asks you, okay, you're talking about trading. You say, I trade, I buy stock, trade stocks and stuff like that. And, I got a system. And they say, okay, so what is a trading system? How would you answer that question if somebody asks you? What is a trading system to you? What is it? So let's see what you guys got to say. All right. So what do we got? Trend-based trading. Okay. Well, here's the thing. When I ask most traders, the answer that I usually get is, it's my rules and my indicators, or it's my rules, or my rules and my charts. And the thing is, for my quality days, here's the distinction. Your trading system is what you do. The indicators, the rules, that kind of stuff, those are tools that you use in your system, but your system is what you do. And this is a real important distinction to make. So question time again, put your answer in the chat. Is your trading system documented? Now, usually the answer that I get to this one, okay, let's see, trend-based trading, set to define rules and algo, find the one winner, stick with it. Okay, so yeah, that's as far as the system. Now, as far as, is your system documented? Do you guys have your system documented? Yes or no? Okay, I got one yes. Most traders, when I ask this, I usually get the following answers. It'll be no or yes, but I don't really use what I have written down. And the thing is, When you get your system properly defined and documented, it makes a huge difference in being able to execute consistently. Again, back from my quality days, that quality experience, it's huge. It really is. And mentally, it has a big effect on you as well. Now, see the results when you do this, when you you define and you document your system. First of all, you have a reference to keep deviations and changes under control. Confusion very much gets replaced with clarity. Just simply getting it written down forces you to clarify things in your head, which is huge. And this, in and of itself, will give you a tremendous reduction in stress and fear, which is very cool. And again, it just makes execution easier, and you'll have fewer mistakes simply because you've actually written down what you do. This is a big deal, super simple. With Robert, it helped him do it as far as getting his system defined and documented. And here's what he had to say. He says, I highly recommend Brian, as his ability to help me focus and gain clarity has been instrumental in my recent trading success. And that was just from getting his system documented. Huge, huge help for him. Okay, consistent profit key number 2. And this is skills and confidence, like we were talking about. Trading requires more than simply the ability to place trades. There is a range of skills that you need to be a self-sufficient, successful trader. I mean, that's just absolutely, it's a simple truth. Of course, you need to be competent and have confidence in yourself and your system as well if you're going to be able to execute, consistently. So what are some of the skills that you need? We'll run down through the list here real quick. These are just some of the skills that you need. This isn't even a complete list. You need to know how to document your system. You need to know how to evaluate your system from a functional standpoint. You need to know how to properly test your system. And the key word is properly. Big complaint I hear from a lot of traders is, as far as back testing, it's a waste of time because my back test results never match my real results. It's because they don't know how to test. That's the thing. If you know how to test properly, it's a huge mental and execution and profit boost. It really is. You need to know how to establish confidence with your system. You need to know how to make changes in a way that doesn't hurt you. You need to know how to fix your trading when it isn't working. And there's a whole pile of other skills that are part of the skill set of being a successful trader. Now, there's an important note on self-sabotage, and a lot of traders never think of this. For many traders, their subconscious sabotages them because it knows that they're lacking the skills for this job. That was part of why my subconscious sabotaged me. It caused me to blow up my account because my subconscious, it knew that I didn't know what I was doing. It knew that I didn't have the skill set. And so it kind of deemed me unworthy of all that success when I ran my account up from $30,000 to $47,000. And for so many other traders, it's like, yeah, when the profits come, your subconscious corrects that because it's saying, hey, that was luck. You didn't get there because you knew what you were doing. You didn't get there based on skill. And so your subconscious is going to correct the situation and kick you back down to where you were before or worse. So the thing is acquiring the skills. This is huge. Fear is a big killer in trading, and it comes in many forms. Most of the fears come from doubt about yourself and or your system. And as you develop the skill and competence as a trader, you replace fear with confidence. And so, consistent execution becomes so much more easy because you simply, like I said, you've got a solid handle on it. You know that what you have works, and you know that you're solid trading it. So here's a perfect example. Dear Brian, certainly I've noticed some concrete results in my trading. I've learned to cut my losses on a dime. I've learned to follow my signals rather than second guessing myself all the time, or second guessing my system all the time. The fear factor is greatly diminished. For these improvements, I am thankful. And it really is. It is huge. Okay, so we need to get moving. Consistent profit key number 3, mental conditioning. Again, huge. So many people, they think, all I need to do is just focus on being disciplined. No. Trading is a performance activity. So the thing is, this is, the mental conditioning, it needs to be done intentionally. And this is to make it so that the events of the day and the market moves and all that kind of stuff no longer trigger the emotions that cause all the problems. This isn't about controlling your emotions. This is instead about getting you mentally right so your emotions aren't a problem. Like I said, when you're properly skilled up, when you've got yourself to that skill level that you need to be, and what what you're doing, you got a solid handle on it, your emotions just naturally calm down because you have a solid handle on it. It's that anxiety, that doubt that is causing your emotions to flare so much of the time. And so here's the thing. We need to rewire your head through mental conditioning and undo that damage that exists now. Remember I was talking about the kiss of death and the experience that almost everybody that goes through, then the damage that occurs during those early weeks and months of trading. That's what we need to fix. Those problems that you've been fighting need to get removed. And we do that by changing your experience. We retrain you in a proper and constructive manner so that you operate every day with confidence and peace of mind. That's how you fix the psychological issues. Now, how to make it happen? Well, first thing, really get outside help. Because again, trading does not lend itself to being figured out by yourself. Markets will just slap you and take your money indefinitely. You need the outside perspective. And this was a big lesson for me, because you can't see what you can't see. And you don't know what you don't know. And neither did I. And that's why I stayed stuck, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what to go fix. And so that was a big deal. Now, like with Adrian, he said, since we had our one-on-one coaching, I can honestly say that I have made huge leaps forward. I have seen a dramatic and measured improvement and feel much more confident, relaxed, and able to pull the trigger when I need to than before. Before the coaching, I felt that I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I just could not get there. Now I now feel that I'm actually, in the light and moving forward. And that's the difference that it makes. When you get that outside help and you can finally see, oh, this is what I was missing. Now, here's the thing. At this point, sometimes I'll hear someone say like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but, hey, I don't have time to do training. I just want to trade, or I'm good with my system. I just need to focus with my discipline. Well, okay. I understand those perspectives, but here's the thing. What I've been sharing with you is stuff that I've discovered in working with so many traders over the years and from my own experience. These aren't things that I've made up or, conjecture or speculation. It's like, these are things that I've just plain seen and found and paid attention to. Now, I know we've taken a lot. Let's take a quick breather. We've covered a lot here. It can be a lot to take in. Let's do a real quick recap of what all we've covered. And then I got to wrap things up because it's almost time for the next presenter. Okay. What we've covered: simple secret to making money trading. How, yes, we want to say consistency first, strategy second. The 3 obstacles to consistent profits in your trading, deviating from your system, not so much from lack of discipline, but the kiss of death. Regular changes to your system, having a good strategy, but a lousy system, huge problems. The difference between a strategy and a system and why it's so important to know the difference. The importance of documenting your system and doing it properly. The 3 things that traders need to realize consistent profits in a reasonable period of time. You need a solid system, you need skills and confidence, and you need mental conditioning. Absolutely super important. We've also covered, how the biggest problems for traders is a lack of good training, how not having the full skill set needed for trading makes it difficult, confusing, and stressful, how not having good training in the skill set also causes self-sabotage, with making it tough to have confidence. So, a few quick questions for you. Has this been enjoyable for you? Have you found it valuable? Do you now feel more comfortable with your ability to make money as a trader now that you're understanding some of these things? And hopefully, you come up with some good ideas, and you feel excited about implementing it in your trading. Now, is it fair to say that if you use what you've learned here today, that it will help you affect to get that better that you seek in your trading? I hope so. So, if you'd like to find out more, if you had 2 options. Would you like to do it by yourself, or would you like to have help? And yeah, I'm kind of moving fast because we're hitting right up on the hour. If you're thinking you'd like to have some help, I got good news for you. I do have a course that you can find out more about it, and I'll skip the testimonials. If you want to go to InsideOutTrading.com/PAB 524, I've got this course which covers exactly what we were talking about, getting you the system, the skills, and the confidence, and the mental conditioning to really get your trading where you want it to be and establish that consistency first. I'm going to throw it up here in the chat real quick, and then I need to go ahead and jump off of here because